Thank you guys for being here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that. Really, what we want to do is every once in a while we want to have some town halls where we can address the community and kind of give some direction and tell people and inform people about what we're doing, but also give you guys opportunities to kind of talk to each other and things like that. It's great to see all of you. There's a lot of familiar faces. Actually, pretty much all of you are familiar. Some of you I might have met recently or invited in here myself, but pretty much everybody in here I'm very familiar with. So I'm really, really happy to see you guys. With that being said, we're going to start tonight off with talking about a quick drink that I'm going to be having during this. Tonight I'm drinking Jefferson's Ocean's Bourbon, which is an awesome blend. It's a bourbon whiskey, small batch, and it's pretty cool what they do with it. They actually take the bourbon and put it in barrels. They put it in wood barrels and they ship it on cargo containers. This specific barrel, it comes with a shipping log, and that barrel is attached to the bottle, and it says this is where that barrel went. So this specific barrel that went in the shipping lane went all the way down through the Panama Canal and over to California, and then back through the Panama Canal and back over to the East Coast. So that's where this actual barrel went and shipped. And then I've had another one that was voyage number 19 that went across the Atlantic Ocean and back. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of different. If you're not really into bourbon, there's a whole different slew of ones that you can try. But I highly suggest this one. I think it's really good. So that's what I'm going to be sipping on tonight while we're talking. And I'm going to have a little bit of that because it is just a Wednesday night. So on Friday and weekends, I'll probably have a little bit more, but just a little to wet the whistle while we're having a conversation. So without further ado, I will get into some of this content. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to everybody is I wanted to let everybody know that we're going to kind of try to make some changes. I think that a lot of members and a lot of people have noticed that there's been a little bit of a disconnect. I haven't been as available as I've wanted to be. We've had people that have made some suggestions on projects and whatnot, and we haven't pushed those out very quickly. And there's a reason for that, and I kind of want to talk about what that is. So what we've done is we've talked about some pros and cons on how a Discord functions and how the research group works. And what we've found is that most of these projects, most of these research groups work in like a pyramid type fashion, in the sense that there's one person or a handful of people at the top, and they sprinkle information over the rest of the group, and that kind of creates some issues. One of the things that I think that it creates is that it makes people dependent on the people above them, and it also causes trust issues where if I say, hey guys, this is a good project and you purchase it, now there's a trust that you believe that what I'm saying is gold or platinum. And at the end of the day, that's not true. It can never be true like that because I have no control over the projects that I'm doing research on, right? So even if there's the best project in the world, and one of the examples that I'll give you would be Strong Block. I am very, very biased about Strong Block, and I think people know that based on how I communicate about it. It's a great project. It has a great team. The tokenomics, everything about it is amazing. But that project could end tomorrow, and if it did, it would behoove me to not tell people that they need to do what they do with their funds, because now all of that blame of that project not being successful is going to come back to me. So how do we solve that issue? Well, one of the things that we've come up with, and the thing that we've been working on for the past couple weeks, is a different method to conduct research and work as a community. So what we're discussing doing, and part of this is not a one-way conversation. We want you guys to give us feedback and tell us what you think or help us improve this. But the overall basis of what we're trying to do is we're going to move away from a centric research model, meaning that a small group of people conduct all the research and push it out to the community. And we're going to open this up to more of a community-based research model. So what does that look like? What we want to develop, what we want to try to do with this Discord is make it something different than anything you guys have ever seen. What we want to do is create a community where the community does research and submits projects. Now, we're not saying that everybody has to be a full-time researcher. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is if there's projects that you are aware of or that you're interested in or that you don't know anything about, start doing research on it. We're going to start giving you guys tools and templates for you guys to use as a baseline so that you can submit information on projects. And what this is going to do, it's going to, some of you might have zero experience doing research, and that's good. We want that because everybody here in one way or another somewhat knows each other. You guys are familiar with each other. We're not a community where someone's going to shit on you because you're not good at doing research. This is the type of community you want to be in and start because we're going to help you get better. What we want people to do is pick a project, whether it's new or old, whether it's good or bad, and conduct research on it. See what you find. Look at the tokenomics. Look at the project developers. Find out whether or not they're doxed. Find out whether or not the project makes sense. See if it is a strong project. See if you can find wallets. We'll give you all of the different things that we look as a research group. And over time, we'll give you the tools to look at these projects better. And that's kind of what our educational content will be based off of. And I'll get to that in a second. But what we want to do is take the traditional model of a handful of people creating all the content and everybody else just absorbing it and making it more of an open space where the research model is community based going forward. So again, we would want our members to try their best now and attempt to do some research based off the templates we give you. And you might be uncomfortable, and we want that. We want you to be uncomfortable. We want you to submit something that you're not happy with, and then the community sees it, and then they start to give you suggestions, and then they start to give you some links or say, hey, I see where you did there. I see how you got to that point. Let me help you, or let me show you how you can do it this way. That drives community engagement. And we're not just talking about how cool our cat is or what I ate for breakfast. We're talking about crypto research. We're talking about getting better at our craft because that's why we're all here. We're all here to get better at crypto. So this would drive the community. We could talk about anything, obviously, but one of the things that we'd be able to focus on is making each other better at conducting research. Once a project's submitted by a member, it gets reviewed by the community. And then as it gets reviewed by the community, we are going to do what's called a vote of confidence. I spoke with an individual earlier today that kind of helped me with that terminology. You know who you are. Thank you very much for that. We would do what's called a vote of confidence. So let's say that a community member brings up the project strong. We're just going to stick with strong because it's easy and everybody kind of knows what that is right now. If let's say somebody brings up strong and starts to talk about that project, community members help create a good product of research and an overview of that project, then they give it a vote of confidence. If it gets to a certain point, it gets recommended to our research team that has special skills at doing all the things we've been talking about, looking at code, looking at wallets, looking at developers, looking at all types of different scenarios that make a project good or bad. The research team grabs a hold of it, adds and subtracts content that needs to be put in there to make sure that it's accurate and to make sure that the project that's being discussed holds muster to the rest of the projects that we want to talk about. And what they will do from that point is push it right back out to the community once it's done and completed. The community reviews it and looks at the good, the bad, and the ugly because let's say the community submits something and they don't catch something that's really good or really bad. We're going to be unbiased and find what we can find about that project and push it back out once it's completed. And now the community gets one more chance at it. Is this a good project? Is it a bad project? Is it high risk, low risk, or medium risk? And we allow the community to make that decision, not us. You guys look at it and you guys decide what you want to do with it. If it's something that we think is a good project that you would like to invest into, let's say that it's something that you think that you have confidence in, then we give that project a vote of confidence, and then it goes into our archive where people can look at it. So what would that look like? So what we've also determined is that Discord is miserable at providing information. It's great at communication. That's wonderful. We can communicate very well with Discord, but it's horrible at providing information. So the Discord has a terrible structure for catalog and information. What we want to do is create something where we have a supplement to Bourbon-n-Blockchain, the Discord. What we're considering, and this is where the community also comes into play, what we're considering and working with right now is potentially opening our own proprietary Bourbon-n-Blockchain forum that's attached to Bourbon-n-Blockchain. Now, that's down the line. I don't think that's something that we're going to be able to whip up right away, but this is like a long-term thing, and we're going to come up with strategies and we're going to implement different techniques that we can use to get there. But what that would look like is, if you're familiar with other forum type websites such as I'm sorry, not Bourbon-n-Blockchain, such as Reddit, where it's easy to find content, it's easy to click on it, and then you can scroll through the information that's in there, and it's listed well. Or if you've been on like the way that Craigslist used to be listed, how it's kind of like there's a subject and then there's lines underneath that subject. That's something that we're considering doing. And what that would do is make it very easy for all of our members to find the content that they're looking for. You'd be able to find a project quickly. You'd be able to have the projects listed within the sections that they belong in. They could be in alphabetical order. You'd be able to find videos and educational content related to those projects all within the same project forum, button, instead of having to scroll through 100 pages of content Discord content. So that's something that we're considering doing. We're going to try to implement that quickly because we want to be able to organize this information and get it out to our community in a fine manner. We think that it's not going to be perfect right out the gate. It's going to take some adjustments. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like a year from now, but what I can tell you is that with your guys' help, we can make this a very unique and a very different Discord than any Discord that exists, and that's our goal. So in the meantime, we're going to start implementing some new things. We're going to open up some different topics and see how people like it, and we're going to ask you guys for feedback. So your feedback is going to be very important for this kind of stuff. We envision the forum to be a very much of a supplement to the Discord. So that doesn't mean that when you get into the forum, that's where you're going to have all your conversations. That's not the case. Most likely the forum is going to be restricted, and that's where you find all of your research-based content. The Discord is going to be where you communicate and have fun with your friends and talk about projects. The forum is going to be more of where you dig deep and get down and dirty and do research. And all the research and the videos and all of the educational content is going to be right inside there. We have potential programs that we're working with now, but we're open to suggestions. We're open to listening to the community about things that you might know how to do. We're also open to, if you're a programmer and you know how to create that type of stuff that we're talking about, let us know. Talk to us and reach out to us. So essentially, we're trying to formulate, and this is kind of a big deal because I talked about this earlier with another individual and also another project developer that I've worked with in the past. Essentially, what we're trying to formulate here is a research community DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization research community. Now, it's not a DAO in the sense that we're going to have a bunch of funds and a token and all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the research and the projects are decided by the community, like HIP proposals and EIP proposals, right? The community provides content, works on content, helps us develop what we're going to be doing and the content that we're creating, and then helps vote on what projects make it to the top so that we highlight those projects and how much confidence we have in those projects. That's what we're trying to create here. It's different. It's never been done before that I'm aware of, and it's not going to be something that we kick out tomorrow and it's done. This is going to be an ongoing process. And I think that the group of people that we have in here, the 200 or so members that we have, this is a perfect group to work with to get this done because a vast majority of you know each other and know me and know what we're trying to do. And we should be able to group think together and create something that's really, really important that's going to surpass all other research groups. It's going to be crazy. I think that we can find a lot of value in this together. So in order for the system to work, the community needs to contribute. It's going to be vital that the community puts in their 2 cents and gives us feedback. It's going to be important that people suggest projects, no matter how good or bad your suggestion is. Even if you put into the crypto suggestions slot that we have right now, which is going to change over time, But if you just put in there, I want to know about Strong Block, it might not get as much attention as a project that has a lot more content and has Medium articles and has the websites and the socials all listed in there. That might not get as much of attention, but it's a submission, and I'll take it. Any type of interaction from the community is great. The more interaction, the better. But we need, once those projects are submitted, we need community feedback on those projects, and then we need the community to participate in voting. So we need everybody. It's not going to just be a handful of people doing all the work. The whole community is going to be involved. We'll open up HIP proposals or proposals on what projects go through and things like that. A lot. They're going to come through. People are going to have time to review the content and then put their vote into the system. And then before decisions are made, those decisions are going to be made by the community. So that's how we're going to be doing things going forward. In the meantime, I do have relationships and partnerships that I've created prior to any of this going live. So we're going to continue with those partnerships and relationships and make sure that we let the community know exactly where we stand with those projects and that we have no affiliation with those projects, that we're not making any money with those projects. But we're not going to cancel those friendships and partnerships. We're going to continue forward with that. But what that also leads us into is going forward, if we want to create a relationship with a project or do an interview with a project, most of those relationships are going to be interview based, and probably that's about it. But those interviews and projects that we reach out to would be decided by the community, not by me. If a project reaches out to me or my team, we'll tell the community, hey, this project's reached out to us. They want to talk to us. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to do an interview with them? If you guys shoot it down, I'll tell them, unfortunately, my community said no. We need to look into you a little bit more. We don't know enough about you or whatever. I get back to you when I can. And when my community says we're ready, we'll reach back out to you. That might not make a lot of friends, but that's the most honest and probably the best way we can handle that situation, because we want to make sure that we're community led and we're not led by one person. So all of that being said, this is also going to change a lot of the content that we're going to create. So we already have King Titus is going to be one of the individuals that's going to help us with our content. We're going to be providing entry-level content for individuals that are brand new to crypto. We're also going to be providing content on how to do medium and hard level things with crypto, such as bridging, swapping, and all types of stuff. Staking. We're gonna provide a ton of content on that stuff, but we're also going to provide content for our projects. So if we talk about a project, for example, Strong, it just happens to be on ERC20, so it's an easy project to get into. But let's say it was on AVAX. When we do these reviews and write-ups, those are going to include step-by-step directions, and it's going to link you to videos that are going to show you how to purchase those assets and things of that nature. So we're going to give you from step 1 to step 10 a whole 360-degree radius of a project. We're not going to just give you a little bit. When it's done and it's completed, it's going to be the whole kit and caboodle. So that's kind of what we plan on doing. Let's see. One of the things that we're going to be working on when it comes to the content that I'm going to be doing and the live content that we're going to be doing with our research staff, we're going to have content where certain research staff members that are confident in some of their skills are going to come on, and they're going to teach educational and instructional based content to help all of our members become better researchers. I'm going to take part in that as well. There's going to be a lot of content that we're going to create to help you guys become better researchers, because we want eventually for you to help the whole entire community and yourself. So instead of us saying, hey, do your own research, we're saying SYHTR, show you how to research. We're going to show you how to conduct research for yourself and for the community. And the overall goal would be to create highly skilled individuals that hopefully contribute to the community, which would create a super army of crypto researchers that are providing well-researched content for the rest of the BnB community. That's kind of what we're looking at. That's kind of what we want to do. But individually, because we don't want to get away from the individual. Obviously, we're a community, and me sitting up where I'm at right now, I'm very concerned and interested in the community, but I'm also concerned and interested in the individual. So what does this do for the individual? we want to give each and every individual the tools so that you can make highly informed decisions when it comes to crypto related projects. And if that means one day that you leave our community because you feel confident that you can listen to other research and that you can listen to people talk about a project and you can dissect a project on your own and you're comfortable with that and you want to leave our community, that's great. And I'll have no hard feelings about that, because what that means is that we've done our job. We've accomplished our goal of giving you all those tools that are necessary for doing what you need to do with your own investments. So that's pretty much the overall spiel. I know I kind of talk quickly, but that's what we're going to be trying to do. I think it's a big goal. It's something that it's not going to happen like immediately, but with the help of everybody here, obviously, because that's what we need, I think that this is going to be something special. So that took a lot to get out. Anything I want to hear from the community. I want to hear from people. What do you think about this idea? Do you like it? Do you hate it? How can we make it better? Do you have ideas of what we can do to immediately start working on this? Mr. Maverick, you're up. I sent you the invite. You got to accept it, and then you have to unmute yourself.
I see it. Can you hear?
Yep.
Hey, Draco. Hey, great to meet you, Mr. Maverick here. I'm familiar with several in the crowd. Myron, I appreciate you inviting me to this group early, but I love everything you have to say, Draco. And, just for example, sitting down this year, I hope everybody's, taking a look and thought through their goals, for 2020, not just financially, but I really thought through, like, hey, what do I really want? Well, the answer is I want to be able to do this for myself, because just like you brought up, we join these communities. It's a bunch of information. Everybody shills in. There's like everybody FOMOs in. There's a lot of flaws to it, right? And I said there has to be a better way. So it's kind of crazy how the stars kind of align. I joined the group through Myron, and as you're sitting here, you're preaching the exact thing that I wrote down on my goals this year. To become a better researcher. I want to be able to do this for myself and help others. And also, along those lines, there's a lot of ways we can improve ourselves. I was talking to somebody just today about learning how to chart, right? So, love everything you have to say. Glad to be a part of the community, man. And I'm all in for it. And I'll set a personal goal, too, once I learn how to do it appropriately, of trying to review 2 projects a week. I guess the immediate thing would be is, there's so many projects, and the speed of crypto is it's nonstop. It's insane. So maybe some assistance to start with for some people that would like to get started on how to identify those early opportunities, so that we're not moving at a snail's pace. I'm saying.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll try to. I don't remember every single topic that you hit there, but what I will say is, I didn't come up with this overnight. This has been something that I've been thinking about for several weeks, if not months. And it's all based on the same things that all of you have been going through over the past several weeks and months. So this isn't just a new concept. This is something that has been developing. So yeah, I appreciate that you noticed that. But yeah, I think that we do better, we gain more by giving the community the tools to do it for themselves. And if we can utilize that as a group, that's even better. And when it comes to projects and getting you guys started, we have a couple reviews that we've done already as a research team that we have within our group that we want to push out to you guys as go-bys or models, things to look for, different topics. So we're going to iron that out as a group so that we can give that to you in multiple fashions. So we want to give you like a go-by, right, that you guys can fill out, or a template, and then also some suggestions or some content that we've created at this point that we think hits a lot of those different positives and negatives, right? So some of the projects we're going to give you might be good, and some of them might not be as good. And we want to kind of show you guys, okay, this is how we're going to do it. It's going to be unbiased. We're not going to always just flat out tell you this is a bad project, right? We're going to give you the overall sentiment of the project, and as a community, we're going to decide whether it's good or bad, because it doesn't matter what Draco wants. It doesn't matter what Draco thinks. It matters what the whole group thinks. So that's kind of the angle that we're going to come from. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much for your feedback. Anything else?
No, sir. That's all I had.
Well, thank you to the group. I'm really happy to have you here, and you are very early. You're going to be, you're in the first 200 people, and God willing, we're going to have way more in the future. But this is a great amount of people to start with and to test this out with. Patient individuals, a lot of which of you are seasoned vets in crypto. So it's good to have these type of people on because I think we have a myriad of experience here, and it'd be great to kind of work with everybody and to see how this works. So thank you very much for joining our group. David M., I'm going to go ahead and invite you up. And I think there's like a little, here, I can move you down. Thank you very much, Mr. Maverick. Have a good one. David, so you might be muted. Hold on, I've dealt with this several times. So if you're on your computer at the bottom left, it says user settings. Click on that and then go to voice and video, which is halfway down. And then make sure that your mic, the input mode is set on voice activity and that your input device for your microphone is set to whatever your mic is, like your headset. Just click the little down arrow and make sure it's set to the right one. And then make sure that it's not on push to talk because it might be on push to talk and you have to hit like space bar or something to speak. While he's working on that, if anybody else has a question, please feel free to come up and we can start talking until David gets that worked out. But yeah, overall, what we're looking for as a community, the type of feedback and the type of information that we're looking for is, does this make sense? We think it makes sense, but maybe you have a better opinion or a different perspective that tells us that it doesn't make sense. I know that we have a different variety of individuals in this group. I'm aware of a developer that's in this group right now, moderators, content creators, and then overall in our entire community, we have those same amounts of people that are from all different walks of life. So if you don't feel comfortable talking about it up on stage and you want to message me or my team, please do so. We'd love to hear from you. What's up, Hal? You're up.
Hey Draco, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. I was wondering, I'm actually trying to do my taxes right now. I was
Okay.
wondering, can we have like a stand-up, not an office hour, but a time for when a group of us could get together to kind of work on certain hurdles that we're going through. Um, just an FYI, I tried using CoinTracker.io, and now I'm playing with Zen Ledger. I know tax season is coming up. A lot of us are trying to get a handle on all the different swaps and exchanges and all the things that we've been doing. And I was wondering, as a group, if we can get together and sort of send out, best practices and help each other kind of get a handle on our taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great suggestion. We can open that up where we have those like member chats, right? So we'll open one of those up
Yep.
and we'll just
Yep.
put dates on it like once a week, where it's not one person talking like myself or anything. It's like a group think or a group tank. One of the things that I will
Exactly.
bring up is that we do have an event coming up next week. Hold on, I'm actually clicking on it to make sure I don't get the wrong date. On Thursday the 13th, I have a tax expert coming in that works with crypto. I'm always hesitant to call him a crypto tax expert because who in the world is a crypto tax expert, right?
Uh-huh.
But he's a tax expert that works on crypto, and we're going to have him come in and do like a down and dirty, hey, the end of the 2021 is here. Here's what you guys need to focus on. This is what the IRS is looking for, and here's some tools to get to that accomplished goal. So we're going to be doing that next week, and it'll be recorded. So if you miss it, we'll be posting that content.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. So he also works for a firm. So if individuals in the future are interested in potentially working with a tax attorney or working with a tax law firm or anything like that, he'll have his information as well, so you can reach out to them and make contact with them. That's outside of our group, but he's obviously a tax attorney, so he's going to want to make sure that he promotes himself as well.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, that's a really good idea. We'll write that down, and we will open up a weekly tax talk group so that you guys can work on that stuff together as well. But yeah, I used Coinly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was
Coinly
gonna
worked
say it
pretty
doesn't have to
good.
be a tax. Oh,
Oh,
Coinly? Okay.
yeah. I'm
I
sorry.
was
Go ahead
gonna
and say what
say
you
it
were going to
doesn't have
say,
to
and then
be
I'll get on it.
oh yeah, sure. I'm just writing down Coinly right now. I was gonna say it doesn't have to be a tax specific standing thing. I was wondering per week we could maybe vote on a subject area. I know you're um,
I lost you. I think you dropped out a little bit. But yeah, no, I agree. And we'll open that up. And it could be about whatever you guys want. I mean, we'll open up a member chat section where you guys can talk about whatever you want. And then we'll
mm,
also make it so that you guys can, we'll try to set up times and say, hey, if you guys want to talk about this, here's a time where we can talk about it. So I do like that a lot. And we'll try to set that up. I'm taking notes on it, and I know that other guys are going to probably take notes on that as well.
oh awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. So back to Coinly, I'll just mention that real quick. Coinly worked pretty good. It read just about everything when it came to ERC20. The only thing that it gets jacked up with is strong because you stake it and it goes away forever and it can't see it anymore. And then the amount that you get back is different, so it gets confused. So you have to manually go in there and like put the information in on what you brought in and what you took out. So that's pretty much the only thing that was labor intensive. The rest of it was pretty darn easy. So that's what I used. Let's see. David, were you able to unmute yourself?
Okay, well,
That's
can you hear me
Yep,
now?
I can hear you. Yep.
Hey, Draco, how's it going? Pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to talk to you.
Hey, so the reason I jumped in on this is because I've been doing a lot of, I could say, research on new projects that have been coming up, but been jumping in onto the project that have been much liked by the audience. They just like to optimize because I mean I trust those guys' research. I'm pretty sure their team is massive. They have their Discord is just pretty darn big. So I figured, shoot, let me start jumping into them, reading their medium, seeing what they have to say, and they've dropped a pretty good projects that I've actually done pretty well on.
And what was this
So
project
I don't know
called?
what is on them.
I didn't hear you. What was it called?
The Olympians. So
Oh, okay.
Olympus, yeah.
Okay, so I apologize. I didn't. I was trying to write down the name of the group. So you've been following the group called the Olympians, and then go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they release projects like not very often. It's not like probably about a week, once every 2 weeks. They're the guys that are I pretty much behind Olympus DAO.
Hmm.
So they pretty much do AMAs with these new projects that are up and coming, and I mean, they have great questions for the new projects coming up, and I've had pretty much good success with the projects that they've called out low risk. So I don't know if that's something that you guys are interested into following. Like I said, I haven't been shit. I mean, rugged is a understatement for these last couple months, but
Hmm.
I haven't had any issues with the projects that they called out. And they also drop out an Excel sheet every month calling out the projects that are low risk, medium risk, or high risk projects. So they kind of narrow it down for us. So it minimizes the research that we have to do when it comes into these new DAO projects.
Really,
Yes.
I like that.
I could send you a DM where it's an Excel sheet where it shows you new projects, which ones they are bullish on. They pretty much narrow it down into the minimal, just so the research that we have to do when it comes to these DAOs is we're not breaking our heads into digging deep into these projects. When they're calling something high risk, it's like, well, shit, I'm just gonna stay away from that. I'd rather
Mm.
focus on the low risk to medium risk. That way, we don't have people trying to investigate into these projects that are already considered high risk by the Olympians, which have already spent a really good amount of time investigating or figuring out who they are or what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Definitely send me a DM with that information. I'd love to take a look at it because that's definitely along the lines of stuff that we're trying to do as well. And I think that ultimately, one of the things that I dislike is that some groups that that are in the crypto space get very, very, I guess you could say, like they get attached to the projects that they're working on. There's only so many projects, and not everybody's going to be the first to a project. So, I'm in the mindset of doing like groupthink, right? Like if you guys found a project or another group finds a project or whatever, there's no reason why we can't look at that project as well. And even more so, if we are the first people to find a project and they see it that we're doing that and they take that information and make it their own, that's a compliment. So, hopefully we can find information out there that we can utilize as well within our own Discord that can help us supplement some of the information that we have.
Agreed. Yeah. Like, I mean, they got a couple projects that were supposed to be coming out literally tomorrow or the day after. And even the developers of those new projects that were approved by the Olympians, they said, wow, the market just looks too choppy. We're just going to hold off and wait until everything kind of stabilizes, even if it's a couple days or a week or so, just so the market's looking bullish to make sure this project prospers, as opposed to just being a pump and dump, which is what
Exactly.
everybody's been going through for the last, I don't know, last month. If you don't get whitelisted into a project, you're pretty much losing your funds the way that everything's been working lately.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't think that everybody needs to have the same sentiment, but more recently I've had the idea of being a little bit more patient, looking at a project and seeing what they're going to do. Yeah, it does pay to be super early. And if you have that opportunity, maybe you take it. But if you're not super early, if you're not within that very early period, maybe it pays to step back and watch and see what happens. That pays dividends over time. Because getting into a good project that doesn't last long is not as good as getting into an okay project that lasts 10 times longer. You're going to actually make more money, whereas you could lose money in that great project that only lasts a couple months or a month.
Exactly. Like all these new DAOs that are coming out, you're talking about they're giving you a trillion, 100 billion APY with
Right.
a 100% 5 day ROI. Those are projects that you just literally want to get into, stick in there for a day or even less, maybe a couple hours, and then just get out of there, because not one token that has come out can actually keep up with those expectations for a long-term project. Like per se, I mean, Strong is one of those projects that you could invest in it, and yeah, it's a 90-day ROI, but it's stable.
Yeah, it is. And they've done a really good job at that. They're very, very transparent. And I think that that's one of the things that I think as a community, we need to raise our standards. We need to raise our standards for transparency. We need to raise our standards for what these groups are doing, how they're communicating, and also, and I hate to say it, but we also need to have some transparency in where these funds are going and who has them, because um, some of these individuals, some of these groups, I do understand the idea of being anonymous. I get that, and I get that that has a lot to do with cryptocurrency in general. I'm very aware of those concepts. But when it comes to investing into projects that are brand new, that have grandiose promises, we need to be very careful about who and what we trust. So I think that as a community, people need to up their standard when it comes to their trust barrier. And I think that that goes along with being in a group that also has that same type of mentality.
Right. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna go through right now and I'm gonna send you just an invite so you could join the Olympians, and as well as to the Excel sheet where it shows you what they're bullish on, and just like I said, the high risk, low risk. We could even post that on your Discord per se, so people can take a glance at it before they jump into these new projects, because they do update it on,
Yeah,
I think it's bi-weekly or monthly, but they're they're pretty good when it comes to updating it and posting it as soon as possible.
absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Please send that to me. And again, hey, thank you for joining the Discord and welcome. And this is gonna be a journey. So strap in. I don't I don't know how fast we're gonna get to where we want to go and how bumpy of a ride it's gonna be, but it'll be great no matter what.
Oh, that's the least of our worries. We got time. We'll catch.
Exactly. Well, thanks for being here and thank you for your questions. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Draco.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Andy Bobandy.
Hey, Draco, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How's it going?
Very well. Sipping on that 1884 again tonight. So
Nice.
that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no. So far, I love everything I'm hearing. I love a community driven research center. I would certainly love some guidelines on what you guys think are good bits of information for us to present to you guys. Because I'm always looking for projects, but I'm definitely not checking all the boxes. But in addition to that, what I would like to see get implemented into this community, because I think it's instrumental from what I've been learning over the past couple of months, is technical analysis and trends. And from my understanding, and I don't think a lot of people know this, is so much of crypto is traded with bots. And retail is a very small percentage of how markets move and coins move. And there's also a stigma, right? This HODL word that has handcuffed so many people from taking profits, and they end up getting wrecked because they hold too long and they get crushed on the downtrend, and then they panic sell. So I think finding new projects is super important, but I think technical analysis on those projects is equally as important. So people know when to get in, when to take profits, and to be told that it's okay to take profits here, right? Don't try to hodl every coin to the moon, because it's not going to happen. A lot of these coins are going to crash and burn. So if you get in at a technical area and know a technical area or range to get out of, that's okay. Get your initial out or a little bit more, take some profits and ride the train, right? And know when a good time to rebuy in is. And I think that needs to hold hands with new projects, because I've been part of a couple of Discords. One I pay 3 figures a month for, and another I pay 2 figures for a month for. And I've learned way more in the lower one because it's focused on how to recognize buy and sell trends. And I've made way more money being in that group than some of the other ones. So love the idea of the community going after projects. But if we have some folks or an emphasis on understanding and sharing with the community on the right places and times to buy and sell, I think all of us are going to be a lot happier.
So I will, so first of all, I want to agree with you. Yes, you are right. That is a major factor in some of this research and development. But then I'll also answer that with my plan. So one of the individuals that's part of this group, one of the partner content creators that we have, is an individual by the name of Carolina Keith. I've made friends with him in the past. We've done interviews together, and he's just an overall really good dude. And we get along with the way that we look at projects and communicate. So with that being said, my plan over time, this isn't something obviously that happens right away, is to try to get him to provide content and education for our members, but also for my team members. What I'd like to eventually do is have all of our team members go through some of his courses. So, these are paid courses that he puts on, and most of them are one-on-one instructions. So it costs money and time to do that. But I want to make sure that our core members go through that type of instruction so that they understand technical analysis as well. And then as we go forward, we can help push the buck forward and give some of that information to our members as well to make them better. So the short answer is yes, I agree with you. The long answer is it's coming. it's definitely in the works.
So 100%. So that's the 2-figure a month Discord I'm talking about. So that it's an amazing.
I figured
community.
It was.
Yeah, he's an incredible guy, right? He does his live streams, which are crucial for a lot of the coins that I think a lot of the folks in this community hold.
Yes.
And he does have free instructional videos on his YouTube channel as well. I think the one-on-ones is definitely super important. But for anyone who has no idea about TA, just going through some of those instructional courses are paramount. But I love it. I love that that's in the playbook. I love that that's in the plan, because that stigma of HODL is hurting a lot of folks, right? They think every coin's going to moon, and they don't know when to get in. They don't know when to get out. And so I think for the success, financially, of the folks in this community, that's paramount and key. So excellent. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution to this conversation, because I do agree with you, and it's something that's going to be in the works. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for being part of this community. I really do appreciate you being here.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
No, thank you. Anybody else? So we don't have to talk about this group anymore, what we're going to be doing. I say we probably talk for another 15 minutes or so, and I'll just open it up to whatever you guys want to talk about. If you guys want to talk about the market, if you guys want to talk about whatever you're drinking tonight or what you plan on drinking this weekend or anything, I don't care what it is. This is an open floor, so just put your hand up. You can come up. I wish that there's an easier way to just open this up to everybody, but you can't. We'd have to all jump into a different chat. That's the problem with having this sort of town hall, or I'm sorry, the stage that's set up here. But yeah, if anybody has anything they want to discuss, put your hand up. If not, we can end a little bit early. One of the things that I want to tell you guys is we are looking at some projects right now, but I actually agree with some of the other things that were said tonight, that this is a very unsure market right now. We're in choppy waters. I watched at one point today, I watched Bitcoin go down significantly, which is pretty concerning when it had a lot of money being dumped into it at the end of last week going into the beginning of this week. And for it to drop as much as it did, that's kind of a concerning sign. So for that to happen, and then the rest of the market went with it. So Bitcoin right now is trading at 43,000. And at the beginning of the week, it was much higher than that. At the beginning of the week, it was trading up by 47, almost hitting 48,000. So something to look at. This market right now is very unsure. So getting into brand new projects or moving your money around too much right now at this moment might not be a great thing. It might be good to kind of sit and hold and watch and see what happens in the market, because it could continue to take a downward trend. So just realize that. Make sure that you're not over committing funds to projects right now. Let's see what happens over the next couple days or a couple weeks. But if that's it, if nobody has anything else or doesn't want to contribute anything, that's fine. As we continue forward, we're going to have more conversations like this. We'd like to have more town halls to update you on what we're doing. And we'll also have more educational content. I plan on doing more wallet security videos and things like that. And then slowly we'll start integrating educational content on how to do your own research and how to look at projects and things like that. It's going to be both text-based, video-based, and audio-based, just like these town hall type scenarios. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that type of content. If that's something that you're interested in contributing to, or if you want to help give us some content, or if you see stuff that looks really good, send it to us and we can take a look at it and make it our own and provide educational content for you guys. So looking forward to giving you guys everything that we can give you. And if that's everything, then I hope you guys all have a good night. It's hump day. So we've only got 2 more days after today. So you guys will make it through the rest of the week and make it to the weekend. So thank you guys for stopping by. Cheers and have a good night.